All right, folks, let's talk Kevin Samuels. So, as you guys all know, Kevin Samuels died. I already talked about it, gave you guys my whole little opinion on it, but I just feel like we need to get a little bit deeper on this situation. Um, with Kevin, I don't feel, I don't feel like anyone having these unvalidated hatreds towards him is it's not gonna stop for a while, so I'm not worried about it stopping. It's kind of like people need a bad guy type thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I get the point of why certain women don't like him and certain simps, but Kevin was really somebody who was sent here by God, and I believe that. And I don't care if a lot of people disagree. You didn't really listen to the message to disagree. You know what I mean? I feel like you got to really go in and listen to those hours of videos and those hours of him talking to people and get to see the people he helped. Validate your hatred with that. You know what I mean? All these other people who are clout chasing off of his name and trying to be the next Kevin Samuels, shame on you. You know what I mean? Shame. These people know what they're doing. These people are strategizing and using somebody who had a meteoric rise and a catastrophic fall to, you know, boost themselves up. It's an algorithm, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It's part of the things you need to do in the algorithm to be noticed, to be that needle in the haystack that gets found and gets you a little 15 minutes of fame. And hopefully you can keep reproducing content like that. But honestly, you know it's not worth it. You know at the end of the day, that shit's gonna come back to haunt you. Don't think that he's done with his work. Don't think that just because he moved on from the physical, that he's done with his work here on earth. He ain't done with y'all. And a lot of y'all about to really get it. I mean, especially the people who feel like attaching themselves to him in a negative or positive way is going to boost them. You got to be genuine with your approach, I feel. You know what I mean? And I just haven't seen that from anybody. You know? It's real fucked up. It's real fucked up because there's so many L's to hand out in this situation from people who used to be famous, has-beens. You know what I mean? We're not going to say no names. People who trying to continue some type of fame. People who are just YouTube commentators and whatnot and seen as somebody in a manosphere space. People who have had their day and just wish they could still be that bitch. You know what I mean? And then there's some people who ain't never really going to ever have their day. They just want to have their little 15 minutes of fame of capitalizing off of this man's life and death. You know what I mean? His mom didn't even know how big he was, but other people did. Other people knew enough to use him and continue to use him. You know, there's people who he's brought to the light, like, of course he would always give, you know, shouts out to the pimpin' like Freeze and Simple and whatnot. He would always fuck with O'Shea Duke Jackson. And then he was putting on the lead attorney with the whole Lapeef thing and, you know, just kind of checking in on them, building a network with good people. You know what I mean? Vetting them, going through their work, seeing how dedicated they were. He had a good eye for talent. You know, whether you say that within the women he chose or the people he chose to associate with, the things he chose to be around or his personal collection of things. You could go through his catalog of videos where he was just mainly talking to men, and you could see that he had a good eye. He knew what he was talking about. He was an expert at these type of things before he even henceforth these type of things to other people. You know what I mean? He was genuinely sent from above to try to help people. And he wasn't above rebuking people. He wasn't trying to take the light route on you. You know what I mean? He was going to get at you the way you need to be got at, cut and raw. And I think a lot of more people need that these days, especially in this politically correct world we live in today, where everybody has to walk on eggshells and beat around the bush and kiss each other's ass in order to get through what they trying to get through. You know what I mean? And if they feel in order to advance to the next stage, they got to kiss ass. And I've never been that type of person. That shit's never going to fly with me. I might not get far because of that type of behavior, but who knows? That might be the thing that gets me the furthest. Shout out to Corey Hope. It is what it is. You know what I mean? That's a straight 5150 nation type of thing. And I know several people in my family who felt that way. You know what I mean? Which brings me to my next subject. So, randomly, I happen to have lost two family members who I feel kind of stay with this type of mind frame. Like, I don't give a fuck if I lose. I don't give a fuck if I win. I'm just going to stick to whatever comes to my mind first. I'm going to stand on it. Win, lose, or draw. So in the prior week or two, I lost my uncle, Amir. He was murdered. The details of the murder aren't completely clear to me, but what is clear to me is that he proceeded in a life of crime when I know he didn't always have to. It was just something that he felt compelled to, especially living in Vallejo. If anybody knows about Vallejo, California, it's a small city with big city problems. You know what I mean? And he's had his fair share of dealings with people in that city with those problems. I honestly want to say rest in peace to my uncle because, he's about to make 40 and it's really fucked up. I think he died a little bit before or a little after his birthday. I don't know. I want to confirm some things before I just say. But he was unmoving. No matter if he was wrong in something or not, he didn't give a fuck what nobody told him. You know what I mean? Straight up. I could tell you some things about him that I've seen personally, that he didn't care what nobody thought about it. Who he was messing with, how he was messing with them, who he was taking stuff from, what type of life of crime he was living, what type of drug addiction he was currently going through, what type of sobriety he was currently going through. I mean, picking up religions. I remember he was the person who got me to first look at Islam because he felt like it could change his life. He felt like it could be the breaking opportunity that'll lead him to greatness. Not just millions, but greatness. You know what I mean? He felt if he could conform to this discipline that he would unlock some type of greatness in himself. And he possibly could have if he had stayed true to the disciplines of Islam, but he didn't. And we were brought up in the Church of God and Holiness. And let's just say, even with our granny being a head lady at the church, a mother at the church, none of us conformed to that either. We had a shining example of how to say fuck that. Of how to say I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to die the way I want to die. Or, just be me unrelentlessly. You know what I mean? My grandmother was the same way. R.I.P. Maui. And my other grandmother was the same way too. She wasn't, into the other stuff like I was saying my uncle was, but very strong characters, very strong spirits, very strong minds in these people, and they were who they were. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any of my old videos. I lost my brother too in December, but he was long on that path of spiraling into insanity and doing drugs and not wanting to be removed from the block. So I get certain people having certain mind frames and things like that. I've gone through it. I'm still going through it and reliving the pain of the tragedy and all that other stuff. But some things just, you gotta evolve, you gotta adapt, you gotta be able to remake yourself, and that was, I think, one of the greatest lessons that Kevin taught. And what he was constantly trying to teach other people to do is put your pride aside of who you think you are. Remake yourself into something that you need to be to survive. Otherwise, you're going to have a very miserable existence where you won't exist. So for people wondering why their lives doesn't change and things like that, you can probably attribute it to your own type of outlook on life and lack thereof of self-discipline and awareness. Not everything is about you besides what you involve yourself with. So, I'm going to get that whole situation a big ass hell. Because, shit, I took hell in that one. That's a loss for the family. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is, man. That shit's fucked up. R.I.P. my uncle. R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. R.I.P. my brother and my grandmothers. So, next topic. Let's talk about Irv Gotti. Okay? So, I don't get the whole simping thing. I've never really been that guy. You know what I mean? I don't really think that any female is really worth doing 20 years of hating for interviews and stuff like that. And you was married at the time, my guy. Like, alright, you got what you wanted out of her. She got what she wanted out of you. You want to hold the masters over her head so she can't do nothing more with her career and other types of facets because she ain't came out with another hit since she left, the ink and all this other stuff. I get it. You want to prove a point that once you cross Irv Gotti, you've always got somebody to be reckoned with, I guess. But this is possibly one of the worst ways to go about doing that. You know what I mean? I'm just at the point where it's like, you got hours in the Drink Champs interview and all this other stuff, and the main thing that people took from that was you're a simp. You supposed to be this big boss Irv Gotti, and you out here putting another asterisk on your name. I just honestly don't understand it because I'm sure you got better things to do. You know what I mean? I'm sure if rebranding your company and reinventing your company and reestablishing that, I don't care if you're trying to do the R&B thing again, if you're trying to do the drill thing now or the trap thing or whatever, you not going the right way. Who's going to want to sign to that? Who's going to want to be seen with a simp? You know what I mean? I understand money talks. It does. You know what I mean? And there's plenty of starving artists out there who will do some dumbass shit with you. But they gonna cross you. They see how lucrative it is to be Ashanti. Especially if one of these chicks could get you fucking with her. You clearly a trick. So trick on. I don't see the problem here. You a trick and you got treated like one. And now you mad because you're tricking and lasts forever? I mean, maybe somebody who's a professional trick can explain this shit to me. Because honestly, I just see this as the biggest L. And then why did Ja Rule come up there with you? Why was Ja Rule there? Maybe somebody could tell me why Ja Rule was there. Oh, I'm in the middle and all this other stuff. See, this is why y'all lost the 50. You see what I'm saying? Shit like this is why y'all lost the 50. You weren't focused on the war. You know what I mean? You weren't focused on the person you were building up out of beef and the fact that you can't let certain shit go. I see why. There you go. That shit is pitiful, son. You need to shake that look. You need to do something to bounce back. You need to do something to reinvent that. You know what I mean? You need to do something to cover that up like a band-aid. You need to do something. Make up with Ashanti. Anything at this point. Because you're just going to keep making her look better and better while you look worse and worse. And then you out of shape too. So you this old, out of shape guy who's always looked like a teddy bear, and now you a simp too. You out here making Trick Face look like, you know what I mean, he got big shoes to fill as far as it goes with simping. You done built a bitch whole career off of your simping. Oh yeah, that song that she made that y'all love. Yeah, the song was about me. We had just got done making love. She was servicing the trick. And then further thought, how can I further get the bag out this trick? I know. Write a song about this trick. Make him think I really want to have his baby or something like that. Ashanti ain't had nobody baby. We just go to show you she ain't never been that type of bitch. She, man, to my understanding, she's the only child, and she likes people doting on her and likes being the center of attention and whatnot, from her mom to everybody else. Like,